You're watching News 3, the Southern Illinois news leader. Live from WSIL-TV in high definition. News 3 starts right now.
Coming up in this half hour, Governor Quinn could soon sign a bill that will help Grand Tower fix its levee system. Details in a few minutes. Plus, mining can be a dangerous job. As we gear up for the annual King Coal Festival, we're taking a moment to remember miners who've died on the job. And there's a growing trend in athletes turning to deer antler spray to help improve their health. But does it work? We'll take a closer look a little later in the show. Good morning. Happy Friday. We're glad you're waking up here with us on News 3 this morning.
And some of us waking up to some rain, especially from overnight and early this morning. Ashley has more on your forecast. Good morning.
Good morning. If you remember, not too long ago, I believe it was last weekend at some point, we did actually deal with some rather heavy rain, really kind of to end the week. And then we saw a long stretch of very dry weather. Now that's all coming to an end, and we're dealing with the heavy rain in parts of the area again this morning. Unfortunately, the rain is going to linger into the weekend as well. Right now, those showers starting to push east of I-57. Some heavy rain in some of those spots, but no thunderstorms and no severe weather at this time either. We are going to see an end to that rain here rather shortly and see drier conditions throughout midday, and then more storms return later in the afternoon. 66 right now in Carbondale and Cape Girardeau, 68 in Paducah, 65 in Poplar Bluff. Temperatures are will be in the 70s at 9 o'clock, 76 degrees at noon, and storms likely later in the afternoon with a high of 79. We'll talk more about that weekend forecast and, of course, your Mother's Day outlook coming up in just a bit. For now, back to you guys.
Thanks, Ashley. Help could soon be on the way for the Grand Tower levee. The levee needs more than $1 million in repairs after a drain pipe collapsed. The state legislation lets the community extend an expired bond measure to raise the money. The House overwhelmingly passed that legislation yesterday. Governor Pat Quinn says he will sign the bill.
Lawmakers are moving forward with a controversial plan to keep Illinois' poison control center running. The measure calls for diverting some of the money that funds 911 centers to operate the state poison control hotline. Supporters say the center helps prevent costly hospital visits, but local officials say 911 call centers in our region would be hurt, especially in White and Gallatin counties. The Illinois Senate approved the bill yesterday, sending it to the House. An emergency order is putting new rules on train companies that transport a specific type of crude oil. The Department of Transportation calls the number of major train derailments in the past year startling. Now trains carry more than 1 million gallons of crude oil from the Bakken region, have to notify states of their shipment routes. They'll also have to estimate how often those loads come through. Franklin County emergency management officials say the more they know, the better.
Any information that we can be provided to know what hazardous chemicals are in the community is definitely a good thing. The more information we have, the better informed we are, and we can make good decisions.
A group of Benton firefighters will receive crude oil training in Colorado later this year.
The House has voted to establish a new investigation of the deadly assault in Benghazi, Libya. Republicans are vowing to dig deeper in search of the truth. There have been 7 previous demonstrations. Ambassador Chris Stevens and 3 other Americans died in the 2012 attack. Democrats say the election year inquiry is actually a political ploy and a point to a fundraising effort that has already been launched. 6:03, taking a look at headlines around the world this morning. Agents and government officials from the United States are in Nigeria this morning. They're there to help find the Nigerian girls who were kidnapped from their boarding school last month. Secretary of State John Kerry says the Americans will also help Nigeria deal with the threats of the Islamic terror group Boko Haram. The group kidnapped more than 300 girls from that school last month and has threatened to sell them into slavery.
The head of the international mission charged with destroying Syria's chemical weapons is speaking out. She says the last 16 containers of chemical agents that need to be removed from the country are in a contested area that's inaccessible. She's asking countries with influence on armed groups fighting in Syria to help arrange access and safe transport for the dangerous agents. At least 1 person was killed and 70 others wounded after an earthquake rattled several towns in southern Pakistan. The magnitude 5 quake struck about 250 miles northeast of Pakistan's capital city. At least 25 mud brick homes collapsed and Authorities are still assessing the damage this morning.
Organizers of the Relay for Life in Massac County have decided to postpone that event. It was supposed to happen tonight, but because of the chances for rain and storms later today and tonight, the group has decided to reschedule. The Relay for Life will now be held Saturday, May 31st at Fort Massac State Park. The committee has not decided on the exact time yet, but do plan to announce that next week. So be in touch with the folks down there in Metropolis for more on that event. And Ashley, weather concerns may be causing a lot of cancellations or at least postponements, huh?
Yeah, we will have to definitely keep an eye to the sky throughout the day today and at times this weekend for those rain chances. We'll talk about it more coming up next.
Accuracy first. This is News 3 weather.
6:08, welcome back. Time now for our viewer photo of the day.
And I'm not going to try to fake it here. We didn't get a preview of it, so we're not sure what you got for us.
I'll just take the reins.
Jump right in and show us what it is.
Show you, yeah. This is actually a pretty interesting photo, and I'm going to point out a few things to you. First of all, that is not a tornado, which I think it kind of is the angle there that makes it look like it's almost like a funnel cloud. But of course, with the sun shining there, those completely blue skies, we have no storms in the area. This was sent to us by Randy Jones out of Mount Vernon, by the way. And what I love about this photo is, of course, it does look like the sun is starting to go down there. We have those really interesting kind of cloud formation. And then if you look right here, kind of where I'm pointing, there is almost like a little rainbow showing up there in the clouds from, of course, that sunlight just kind of reflecting off of the clouds there. And just a kind of a very neat cloud formation. I think if you kind of don't look at the base here, then you see that these are just rather thin kind of fair weather clouds there. And so just a lot going on in that photo. So I thought it was neat to point out. So thank you to Randy Jones for sharing that with us. You can have your own photo featured here on News 3 this morning. Email me directly, asmith@WSIL-TV.com, or you can share them on our Facebook page. This morning, you're going to be taking photos of some rather wet conditions across the area. We, of course, are dealing with that rain, especially across southern Illinois right now. Most of southeastern Missouri saw the heavy rain last night. It has all since moved off to the east, kind of now making its way along and east of I-57. And we will see kind of some drier weather, at least for a period of time later this morning. And then more showers and thunderstorms will be likely by the afternoon. The problem with these storms, I think, is really going to be not so much the severe risk. There is a small risk for severe storms, but it's more the flooding, because we've already picked up 2 inches of rain in Mount Vernon there at the airport. Carbondale close to an inch, more than an inch in Cape Girardeau, also in Poplar Bluff, and Paducah just now starting to see some of that heavier rain. So the totals there a little bit lower. So not only did we see that rain last night, we're going to see more today, scattered showers and storms tomorrow, and then continuing into Sunday and Monday before we finally see some drier weather. Those storms right now are further off to the west, at least the line of storms that we expect to move back into the area by this afternoon. So we'll dry out later this morning and into probably midday, and then more showers and thunderstorms will be likely by the afternoon. Temperatures right now are in the 60s, 64 in Mount Vernon, 66 in Marion and in Cape Girardeau, 68 in Paducah. That cold front starting to make its way east of the area. Notice the cooler air behind it, where temperatures are in the 40s, out ahead of it in the 60s. So we will cool down later today as well. Our temperatures falling back into the 70s as opposed to the 80s where we've been much of the week. Those storms return later in the afternoon. I think the window, especially in southern Illinois, will be between 3 and 5 p.m. So if you do have outdoor activities during that time period, be aware. By tomorrow morning, it does look like we dry out, and much of Saturday we'll just see an isolated shower or storm, especially further down to the south and east in western Kentucky. And it looks like we're dry for Sunday morning before more storms arrive by Sunday afternoon. Rainfall totals across the region could be rather high, especially further down to the south. We will pick up an additional inch or so in some areas on top of what we already had, so keep that in mind. Temperatures this afternoon will be in the upper 70s, so I don't know why that number's not showing up, but about 78 degrees. By tomorrow morning, we are in the low 60s. A few storms on Saturday, especially very early in the morning. I think the rain chances, perhaps the thunderstorms as well, kind of peak very early in the morning and then fall off during the day. For Sunday, it's going to be afternoon showers and thunderstorms. So if you have plans with mom early in the morning, perhaps early afternoon even, I think you're okay. But after about maybe 1, 2 p.m., That's when we'll start to see more storms. They continue into Monday, and then we cool down Tuesday and Wednesday back down to the 60s, and we'll finally dry out by midweek.
So today, not looking so great
Not
outside.
so great, no.
If you don't have to get out, I guess just don't do it.
I'm pretty excited to take a nap later this afternoon.
It is good napping weather,
Yes.
I'll agree. Thanks, Ashley. Up next, can deer antlers help improve a person's health? We'll take a closer look. But first, here's this morning's tech headlines with Diana Perez.
To your health this morning, legislation meant to help combat a lack of mental health doctors in our region is moving forward in Springfield. The bill would allow psychologists to prescribe medication to patients as long as they undergo specialized training and work with a coordinating physician. A committee approved that measure yesterday, sending it to the full House. Representative John Bradley from Marion says the bill would make it easier for patients in rural areas to get much needed medication. A deer's antlers grow fast, more than an inch a day, but could those regenerative qualities transfer over to humans? Some say yes. In fact, in China, they've used deer antler spray for thousands of years to help improve muscle strength, recovery, and even boost energy. Deer antler velvet is sold now in the United States as liquid drops, capsules, and as a spray. Because it's sold as a supplement, not a medicine, companies don't have to prove there's any benefit. Researchers here have tested the products recently and found that only one, the strength training test, showed any possible positive effect. Doctors believe, though, that any positive effects are due to nothing more than a placebo effect. And about 3 million Americans are living with type 1 diabetes. Tomorrow you can lend a hand and a foot in finding a cure. Connor's Crusade is a fundraising walk that's planned for the Johnston City High School. It's happening tomorrow. There will be silent auctions, raffles, and a bake sale as well. The walk begins at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Jayla, back over to you.
Thanks, Kevin. A panda at the San Diego Zoo is recovering after surgery for testicular cancer. Surgeons removed the panda's right testicle recently. Surgery for testicular cancer took about an hour. Now he's recovering in a private habitat at the zoo. Veterinarians estimate the bear is about 24 years old. A kitten in Florida has a new lease on life thanks to some generous animal lovers. Meet Peggy. She was brought in to a humane society missing a paw, and vets aren't sure how it happened. So the facility held a fundraiser to pay for surgery to fix Peggy's leg. Her paw had to be fully removed at the wrist. Shortly after the surgery, though, she was up and meowing. And after a few weeks of recovery, Peggy is expected to have a happy and normal life. The center has already received numerous offers to adopt her. Up next, we'll take a look at on-campus crime at SIU. Officials say it's on the decline. Details in our Crime Tracker report. You're watching News 3 this morning.
Putting accuracy first. This is News 3 weather.
We are watching some rain moving through parts of southern Illinois, especially. A lot of that rain starting to kind of dwindle down, just a few showers, especially in southeastern portions of Illinois. Notice still, though, some activity moving out of southeastern Missouri toward Jackson County right now. And so that's kind of what we will have to deal with throughout the day today, where these scattered showers and storms kind of pop up out of nowhere. That cell definitely did exactly that. And so don't let your guard down today. We will still definitely need the umbrella at times today, and the chance for some stronger storms is also possible. Seeing mostly cloudy skies in Carbondale right now, but as I mentioned, some rain on the way there, so definitely grab the rain gear to be prepared all day long. 64 degrees in Marion and Mount Vernon, 66 in Harrisburg, 63 in Jonesboro right now. Later this afternoon, we will see those stronger winds. Here's your 3-hourly forecast. 71 degrees at 9 o'clock, 76 at noon. 79 for your high temperature. We will see the chance for storms return later on this afternoon, and then that kind of starts to wane by the evening hours. A few storms at 6 o'clock, and these storms are going to move from west to east. So the further east you are, the longer you'll have to deal with those storms. We're back to 69 degrees at 9 o'clock, mid-60s at midnight with those storms starting to come to an end. I think most of Saturday morning is dry before more rain and thunderstorms arrive on Mother's Day. Kevin?
Club is teaming up with the John A. Logan College Community Band for a free concert. It's set for tonight at 7 o'clock at the Marion Rotary Amphitheater. Band director Mike Haynes and Marion Rotary Club president Randy Lewis are both here with more details. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Kevin.
Randy, start us off and just tell us a little bit about Rotary and what you guys do in Marion.
Setting.
Sounds good, Randy. Any final thoughts this morning?
Yes, we have a website that we've created. Our club has. It's MarionRotaryAmphitheater.com, and it would invite any local band to go out there and visit, and they can even book a date for free of use for our amphitheater.
Should be a great time and a great cause. Again, it is happening tonight at 7 o'clock at the Marion Rotary Amphitheater, and that's located over there by Crisp Athletic Park.
Absolutely.
Right? All righty.
I might add that website is where we will announce if we do have to cancel it this evening too.
All righty.
People need to check that, but hopefully we won't have to use it.
Yeah, and we'll check that out as well and keep you posted on social media this morning and this afternoon too. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Up next, a Marion man proves you're never too old to chase your dreams or lift them. Details in 2 minutes. You're watching News 3 this morning. 6:26, welcome back. In this week's Crime Tracker, SIU police are investigating an aggravated battery.
They arrested Jabez Chung over the weekend. The victim was taken to the hospital with facial cuts. Police have been more proactive, though. They say aggravated assaults are down. Grant money is allowing the installation of more surveillance cameras. West Frankfort is taking the time to remember their roots this weekend.
They're celebrating the Old King Coal Festival. News 3's Michelle Medeiros is there this morning with more.
It's a weekend full of fun and games to honor past and present coal miners, but their job is serious business. The U.S. Mine Safety and Health Administration is reporting 3 coal mining deaths in as many months. Officials think a lack of oversight could be adding to the problem. They say mine operators need to look into how well the miners are being trained and reevaluate the safety of their work sites. Locally, we've seen some of our own fair share of fatalities. Dallas Travelstead was killed inside the sugar mine camp back in November. Investigators say a large piece of coal, 3 feet long and nearly 2 feet thick, rolled over and crushed him. And almost a month earlier, a miner died at the Patiki mine in Carmi. Officials say Robert Smith was killed when his cart he was driving hit a wall of the mine and flipped on top of him. And I'm here with Jim Hall. You're the Old King Coal here. That's obviously some serious business, but tell us a little bit why you guys decide to honor miners this way.
Well, they've did it for years, since 1941, and someone will submit your name in a small article about what you did in the mines and how many years in the mines, and then it'll go before the committee and they choose which one actually is elected to be Old King Coal. It's an honor to follow in the footsteps of all the men that's had this before me.
Definitely. It wouldn't be an honor if you didn't have a crown, right?
That's
Isn't that how it works? So tell us a little bit. Yesterday there was some rain, so you guys had to shut down early. What time did you guys close down?
Around 9:30 last night.
And will that be something possibly today that might happen again?
If the rain continues, or if it's, if it starts lightning or anything, safety's first. This is a family-orientated festival, so safety first.
Definitely. And what's your favorite part of the Old King Coal Festival?
I like all of it.
You like all of it?
Yep.
And is there something here for everyone, would you say?
I would say there is. There's something here for everyone, from the smallest child up.
All right, I'm going to tell you, I'm most looking forward to the cotton candy, and I'm going to try that out later. But thanks for stopping by this morning. And coming up, again, we'll talk a little bit more about what you can look forward to this weekend. Reporting in West Frankfort, Michelle Medeiros, News 3.
Thanks, Michelle. 6:29. A local man isn't letting age stop him from winning world championships in weightlifting. Ivan Zwick is 74 years old, and just last month he traveled to Newcastle, England, where he won an international powerlifting championship. He bench pressed 242 pounds. Despite being well past typical retirement age, he's not showing any signs of giving up the sport.
I have a very competitive spirit, okay, and I want to repeat, and I think age is just a number. I don't know how you're supposed to feel when you're 74, but I feel just like I did 20 years ago.
Zwick is already training for a competition in San Antonio in August. Congratulations to him and good luck in that competition.
It's so
in
awesome
August.
to see someone continuing that through their older years,
Yeah.
doing that stuff. It's amazing.
Very neat indeed, and we'll be back right after this.